UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees in the Near East, was established nearly 70 years ago as a temporary agency in an effort to take care of those who were displaced as a result of the war that followed the United Nations partition plan, a war that the Arabs opened in rejection of the plan and in an effort to prevent the establishment of the State of Israel. And the idea was that within a few short years, since they were of the same group, they were Arabs, they spoke the same language, they would be locally integrated and the issue would be over. But this, of course, was not the Arab perspective. The Arab perspective that they in no way, shape or form were willing to accept the fact that the Jewish state was established and that the State of Israel did win the war and was able to declare independence. One of the ways that they thought of undoing the establishment of the State of Israel was by not allowing those who were displaced as a result of the war to be locally integrated, and to keep alive the idea that they can undo the war, that they will be able to go back to the places that they fled from, and that the State of Israel in that manner will therefore be undone. Numerous refugees, millions and millions and millions of people displaced as a result of conflicts and wars. None of them are still considered refugees today. The Arab refugees, Arab countries refused to absorb them. They themselves refused to be absorbed, so that today, when we have a fifth generation of descendants of those original people who were displaced as a result of the war, we have 5.2 million people who are registered by UNRWA as refugees from Palestine. Just to highlight the absurdity, more than 2 million of those 5 million live in the West Bank and Gaza. So certainly by their accounting, they are in Palestine. And yet they live in Palestine. The vast majority of them were born there. They have never been displaced, never moved an inch. They have grown in that Palestine their entire life, and yet they claim to be refugees from Palestine. Which Palestine exactly are they claiming to be refugees from? Clearly the Palestine that in their mind will one day supersede Israel from the river to the sea. It is worth noting that another 2 million live in Jordan and they are citizens of Jordan, but yet they are still considered refugees. In no other situation in the world are people who are citizens of a country, have been born there, grown up there their entire life, considered refugees from a third country in which they never were. When people talk about obstacles to peace, you will hear them talk about the settlements, the occupation, but very little emphasis is placed on Arab and Palestinian rejectionism, on the fact that the Arabs and Palestinians have never actually accepted the two-state solution. When an Arab-Palestinian leader says that they accept the two-state solution, but they also say that they insist on this idea of a right of return, which means that more than 5 million Palestinians will resettle into the State of Israel, turning the Jews into a minority, it actually means that the only two states they really envision is an Arab state in the West Bank and Gaza and another Arab state in Israel. So UNRWA is actually the greatest and least known obstacle that exists to peace. People who truly want peace, there is no greater act they can do for the promotion of peace than dismantling UNRWA and sending a message to the Arab Palestinians that peace depends on Palestinians limiting their territorial ambitions only to the West Bank and Gaza, and that they cannot have any ambitions to Israel within the Green Line.